Coming up on 40 in the Morning weekend, after a party turns deadly in Springfield, what the community and community leaders are saying. Plus, dozens hospitalized after a plane makes a hard landing in Canada. And a driver is found not at fault after striking a pedestrian in Springfield.
From WGGB Springfield, the Associated Press station of the year, this is 40 in the Morning weekend.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Brittany Decker. It's 7 o'clock on this Sunday, March 29th. Thank you so much for joining us here on 40 in the Morning weekend. We're going to get to all of your top stories in just a moment, but first we want to check out that forecast. Hopefully a better day today. Meteorologist Don Maher is going to tell you all about it. Don?
Thanks, Brittany. Yeah, much quieter on Live Doppler HD than what we saw this time yesterday morning, and a drier day on tap to close out the weekend. But it's a chilly start. Temperatures in the teens and 20s. Worthington at 12 degrees right now. We're at 18 in Northampton, 13 in Orange, 20 degrees in Greenfield. We'll top out in the upper 30s as we go through the afternoon, so a little milder than yesterday, but still below normal for this time of year. Satellite and radar, you see mostly clear skies out there this morning, and sunshine will be in no short supply as we go through the afternoon. You see the snow shower activity. That's continuing to pull away from the region, so if you are going to be outdoors today, a much better day, though it is going to be cool. Temperatures rising through the 20s into the low 30s by noontime. By 3 o'clock, we top out around 39 degrees. Still clear skies after sunset. Temperatures falling back through the 30s. Enjoy this dry day today because there is more wet weather on the way. I'll give you all the details with the full forecast in just a couple of minutes. Brittany?
Thank you, Don. A house party in Springfield turned deadly on Saturday. 3 people were stabbed after a fight broke out, and one of them was killed. ABC 40's Jennifer Martinez is here with more details. Jenny?
Brittany, the murder at 73 Cambridge Street marks the city's 9th homicide of the year. Neighbors we spoke to say their neighborhood used to be quiet, but when new neighbors moved into that home, they started throwing large parties. They say they're saddened by the news and that a 23-year-old was killed after one of these parties. This homicide prompted the city to hold a press conference.
I think we have a lot of younger folks that don't take into the thought process of the future consequences of their actions. I think we've seen that repeatedly in past incidents. It's my sincere desire that this is an anomaly and that it's not going to be predictive of the year to come.
The Springfield Police Department says none of these deaths are related, and 5 of the 9 homicides have led to an arrest. The identity of the murder victim will not be released until family members are notified. Brittany, back to you.
Jenny, thanks. This latest murder comes just days after the city was reeling from the death of Kenneth Lopez. This 18-year-old was found shot to death on the corner of Calhoun and Dwight Street in Springfield. His brother-in-law spoke with us briefly on Saturday with a plea to those who continue to bring violence to our streets.
That's really sad, man. Y'all gotta stop, all this crime stuff, man. Y'all gotta stop all this violence, man. Stay home, man. There ain't no place like home.
Anthony is part of an organization called ROCA. That program helps to transform the lives of the most high-risk young people between the ages of 17 and 24. The driver of a car that struck a pedestrian on St. James Boulevard Friday night has been ruled not at fault for that accident. The accident happened just after 10 p.m. on Friday. A 50-year-old man was taken to a hospital with serious injuries. Police say that he wasn't walking in a crosswalk and he walked in front of a car.
It's a tragedy, not only for the victim, but the person driving. It's something that you don't want to experience if you don't have to. We suggest people when they're crossing the street, especially when it's dark out, inclement weather, make sure you stay in a crosswalk, always look both ways.
Speed was not a factor, and since the driver didn't do anything wrong, he wasn't charged. No word on the condition of the victim. A Boston police officer is in a medically induced coma this morning after he was shot in the face in an altercation with a suspect. Officer John Moynihan was shot under the eye during a traffic stop. In an attempt to stop the suspect, officers returned fire, killing him. Police Commissioner William Evans provided an update on the investigation yesterday.
No guns were drawn. The video is going to clearly show that. The officer was assisting the driver out and without provocation. As the driver is getting out of the motor vehicle, you can see his right arm come up, point blank, and shoot Officer Moynihan right below the eye.
A woman at the scene was reportedly treated for a flesh wound and is expected to be okay. A 22-year-old Alabama man is charged with 7 counts of attempted murder after a shooting at a house party in Florida. Several of those victims were Alabama A&M students who were visiting Panama City Beach on spring break. At least 3 of those students are in critical condition. The suspect is being held by authorities until he can appear in court. More than 20 passengers from an Air Canada flight have been taken to the hospital after a hard landing in Halifax. A spokesperson for the airport says that the plane left the runway. No major injuries have been reported from the incident, and all of the people on board were able to get off of the plane. The Air Canada says on Twitter that 22 people had to be taken to the hospital for observation and treatment of minor injuries. Hours earlier, nearly 24 people were hurt when a metro train and a car collided in Los Angeles. Officials say that it appears that the driver of the car made an improper left turn and the train operator simply couldn't stop in time. The operator was seriously hurt and the driver of the car had to be cut out of the vehicle. Officials urge drivers to use caution when traveling near train tracks.
The majority of the time, it's the drivers who aren't paying attention, who are distracted or unaware of their environments.
Another commuter train crashed in Southern California just last month. That train operator was killed after a driver turned onto the tracks and got stuck as the train approached. The search continues for 2 people still missing in the rubble of 3 New York City apartment buildings leveled in an apparent gas explosion this week. Meanwhile, new reports that utility company Con Edison discovered a hazardous situation in the back of the building in August. Utility workers reportedly found a gas line to a restaurant in the building that had been tapped, and there were multiple leaks. Those leaks were later repaired. City officials suspect that leaking natural gas was the source of the explosion, which sparked a raging blaze that took hundreds of firefighters to extinguish. A 4-year-old girl in Philadelphia hopped on a bus in the middle of the night in search of a frozen slushy treat. Now, thanks to strangers, though, she is back home safe. Annabelle left her home just before 3 a.m. As the bus drove her out on the street, someone on board asked the driver to stop when he noticed that she was all alone. As the driver called police, little Annabelle told some passengers about her late-night mission.
She had a mind set because I knew what she wanted, you know.
What did you want?
All I want is a slushie. That's all she said.
That's it. Police arrived and took the young girl home to her shocked mom and dad. Since then, they've reconfigured their door locks, and they thank everyone for helping to keep her safe. Closing the gender gap in computer science, Hack at Smith kicked off Saturday in Northampton. More than 150 students worked together to create something they say will be amazing. The 24-hour competition is put on by Smith College to test some of the brightest minds on campus and across the region.
There's a significant minority of women in computer science, and we really want to promote women becoming computer science majors, either if they've never coded before, taking this as an opportunity to learn how to, or if they have, to really reinforce and support and celebrate their creativity.
Computer science programs and industries are often male-dominated, but more than 50% of the participants at this weekend's events were women, which is a far higher percentage than most collegiate hackathons that take place around the country. A couple of llamas who were made headlines after going on the run are now making celebrity appearances. The white and black llamas made a pit stop for their fans at the Turf Paradise racetrack in Phoenix. The llamas' owners say that they can't help but enjoy the happiness that the animals bring to the crowds everywhere they go.
Everybody just loves seeing the llamas because it's something different, but it's kind of fun that they're still such celebrities. I didn't expect it to go on this long.
We had to come out. We live next to the town they're from.
I like them. I just don't want them to spit at me.
Unfortunately, this may be the last time that folks get a chance to see the llamas. The USDA say that they'll need a license to showcase them at any future events. Now, after the break, Boston bracing for flood insurance claims after a particularly harsh winter.
And after a damp Saturday, a much